Well, hello. So in today's video, I'm going to make these really attractive display boxes, which I'm using to store or to gift a couple of bottles of whiskey. More importantly than making them, though, I'm going to explain to you why I'm making them. Before we get into that, though, what I might do is bring your attention to the boards that I'm storing up here in my workshop. Now, there's nothing inherently special about these boards, but they did impact my year quite a bit, and they probably explain why you haven't seen a whole lot of me this year. I'll come back to them later on. If it's your first time here, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Mario and I'm a woodworker. So since November last year, a really good mate of mine has been telling me, Mario, I've got some timber for you. It's free. It's a great deal. You're going to absolutely love it. I was super excited. Like, who wouldn't be? Yeah. But then 1 month passed, and then another month passed, and then another month passed. So to be honest, after 5 months, I kind of forgot about it until I got a message on my phone just a few weeks ago. Hey, I'm coming with that timber on Monday. Make sure you've got room for it. Room? There's no room here. Here, there's no room. So I called him up and we had a chat and I found out that he was serious. He actually had a load of timber in his trailer ready to go. Storage was absolutely going to be a problem. I really had no room left in the workshop for it. So I thought, okay, I'll do what I've been wanting to do for the last year and a bit. I'm going to build myself a woodshed. I built it over a weekend using reclaimed timber. So all the wood that I've used here, it came from somebody else's garage, I think it was, that they had pulled down. All the roof sheeting and the sheeting on the wall, that's all secondhand as well. So there were a lot of holes that I had to deal with and work around, but it was free, so I don't really care. So I'm certainly not going to win any design awards here, but for a total cost of about $40 worth of screws, this isn't too bad. This is going to be wood storage at the back of my workshop. It's about 3 meters by 1.8 or something like that. So it's not huge, but I'll be able to put wood on both sides, which will take all the timber out of my workshop and probably have the dust collector in here as well, which will get rid of a lot of noise and free up some space inside the workshop. Once the frame was up, I melted some timber storage racks on both sides of the walls, and then I started filling it up with the timber that I already had inside the workshop. Once that was done, I just sat back and waited to see what this mysterious timber delivery was all about. And I tell you what, I was so lucky that I built this thing, because when he rocked up with a trailer load of what I think is Tassie oak, I just about wet my pants. There is so much great timber here. I can't believe how lucky I got. I can see a couple of tables, probably a kitchen table in there, a nice roll-top desk I'm going to build. I can't wait to do that. Heaps of little boxes like this, hundreds of them. Well, maybe not hundreds, but lots of them. And heaps of other projects. I really can't wait to get stuck into it. It really got me super excited. I figured that the first thing I should build, though, were a couple of gifts for the guys who actually got me this timber in the first place. And unfortunately, even though I did have the timber, I didn't really have the chance to do anything with it because the workshop itself was still in a suboptimal state. And in this case, suboptimal means that there was just crap and mess everywhere and I didn't have room to swing a handsaw. There was just absolutely no room here at all. It was terrible. To be honest, just walking into the workshop made me feel bad. And so this is the reason why I went and built that little wood shed. The workshop is just a disaster. I've got no room to do anything. I've got way too many tools. As soon as I walk in the door, I've got stuff on top of me. I've got timber up here that I can't really get to. I've got timber up here I can't easily get to. I've got timber underneath the table saw. I've got stuff on top of the workbench. I'm not depressed, but I walk out to the workshop and I just feel sad because I can't actually do anything. There's just no space in here. So I'm hoping that by getting a whole lot of the timber out of the workshop, all of that's going to be gone, all of that's going to be gone, the dust collector is going to be gone, and then I can get to work on rearranging the workshop. I've got a new layout ready to go, and I think it's going to be a lot more enjoyable because it hasn't been fun coming out here for the last few months. So it's time to really put some effort into cleaning it up. I wasn't depressed or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far, but I would come outside all excited to work on a project on the weekend, open up the door, take a couple of steps inside, and then just feel deflated. You know, you walk in and there was the dust collector was right on top of you. There was junk in the way. You had to step around everything. It was just a big mess, and it just made the place just not a fun place to be, is what it comes down to. That's probably the best way of describing it, actually. It just wasn't a fun place to be. So I'd come out here and just all my energy, all my drive would just melt away, and I would just, it was kind of crap. So do you remember those boards that I was talking about earlier? That was a job that I did for a mate, some jointing, some planing, some laminating, gluing up. It wasn't a hard job, but it just took a fair bit of time and a bit of space because there was so much timber. Now, those boards of that job, he needed it done by mid-December 2023. So I'd done it by mid-December 2023. Fortunately, he wasn't able to pick it up straight away. Now, this guy's a builder. He's always got multiple jobs on the go. He works super hard and he's just crazy busy all the time. So I always knew that he was never going to pick it up when he said he was going to pick it up. But I expected in January, it'll be gone a couple of weeks into the new year. It's late June 2024 at time of filming, and I still have these boards up in my workshop. Even I didn't expect them to hang around this long. Now, to be really clear though, this guy's done keeps for me and I'm not complaining in the slightest. I'll store these for the next 10 years if he wants me to. There's no problem with that. The only problem is they're so long, so wide, and they cost so much money that I can't store them outside. I've got to keep them in the workshop where they're nice and safe and secure because I don't want him to come pick them up and they have them all bent like bananas, yeah? So yeah, I kept them in my workshop. Safe, dry, secure, and stored on the only horizontal storage place that I had at the time, which was my workbench. So I wasn't able to use my workbench for about 6 months. And look, it's one thing to come out to the workshop and not have room to move around easily and you have to dance over things to get to all the different tools. But to not be able to use your workbench and put a piece of wood in the vise and cut out a dovetail joint just for a little bit of fun, that was a bit sad. And so to be honest, that's why you haven't seen a whole lot of me this year. I just haven't felt like coming out here because every time I did, I just felt deflated and bored and didn't enjoy it. So something had to change. And I think this timber delivery actually changed it. It forced me to go and build something so that I could store the timber. And even though I'm not a framer or a carpenter or anything like that, I really enjoyed building it and putting the frame all together, especially having the time pressure of doing it over a couple of days. I didn't enjoy working out in the mud and where all the spiders and those sorts of creepy crawlies live, but I got through it. So I had a lot of fun building the woodshed, and then I had even more fun filling it up with all the timber that I had in the workshop. And then I had even more fun filling it up with the timber that I was gifted in this delivery. And at that point, I had a huge amount of fun taking all the timber that had been sitting on my workbench and placing it up on the storage racks in the workshop, which were finally empty. That was really fun. And I'll be honest, from there, things happened really, really fast. Suddenly I was motivated again. I was energized again. And I came into the workshop one day and I decided this layout's not working for me. I can do so much better. I'm going to renovate the workshop. So that's what I did. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I sent out about 150 stories because for 2 and a bit weeks, I was out in the workshop every single day. Over the weekends, I spent all the time out here. During the week, I would be out here at lunchtime and after work. And I just changed everything about the workshop. I've ended up with a completely brand new workshop. It's not finished. The layout is not finished. I've still got some ways to go, but it is amazing. It is the absolute best it's ever been in, and it is an absolute joy. Oh my God, it's a joy to be out here again. Oh, it's so good. I always enjoy a good workshop tour video, so I'm not ready for that just yet. I want to clean up a couple more areas, but there'll be one of those coming out very soon because it's night and day. It really is. So now that I've got room again in the workshop and I've got some energy about me again, what have I done with it? I've made some gifts. It's been fantastic. I've been out here so much. I've obviously made these 2 display boxes for the whiskey bottles that I'm going to give to the guys who gave this to me, but I've also made another rocking horse. I love making rocking horses. They're just so much fun because look at it. It looks fantastic, yeah? I've made probably a dozen rocking horses over the years and I love them all equally, but this is my favorite. So this rocking horse is made from the nicest timber that I've made any of them from, and it just looks the best. It's beautiful. So one of the guys who got me the timber, he's got a couple of young kids, so hopefully in a week or 2, they'll be playing on this and having a great time with it in their house. Incidentally, if you do like this style rocking horse and you want to watch a video of somebody making it, Anthony from Barber's Paddock Woodworking, he actually made a video of him building one of these just a few weeks ago as well, maybe a couple of months ago now. So I'll put the link down below. Go and sub to Anthony's channel. He's made some really amazing stuff, even though he's only been woodworking for a year or 2. So thanks, Ant, for making the rest of us look bad. Now, as for the whiskey bottles, I've made these on the Incra LS positioner over on the router table, and these ones have got quarter post dovetails. So effectively, it looks like you've got a tail on both sides of the joint because, well, you have a tail on both sides of the joint. It's a really cool joint. I really, really like it. And I think it came out beautiful for these boxes. If you're interested in the detail of how to build boxes like this or any sort of joinery on the Incra, head over to TimberCon's channel because I've put a bunch of how-to videos up over there. Honestly, I put a lot of work into those videos and I think they're probably some of the best how to use the Incra videos on the internet. I know I'm biased, yes, but I still think they're pretty good. Because I work with TimberCon on those videos, they're actually offering a 10% discount on the Incra if you use the code that I share somewhere around about here. 10% off. I do get a little bit of a kickback from that one, but you save 10%, so it's kind of win-win. So if you like me, it's a great way to support the channel. And if you don't like me, well, you still save some money. So it's silly of you not to use it. For these boxes, I'm going to cut what Incra call a corner post joint. I know I really like the look of this one. Honestly, I think using contrasting colors in a joint is almost cheating. It just makes it look so good immediately. It also hides a lot of the gaps. The way I think about the Incra, I know it looks a bit confusing to use, but it's almost paint by numbers, the way that you go and cut out your joinery. All you have to do is follow each step, each letter as it is, and everything will work out right. It's actually pretty amazing because every time I go to use it, I think, oh, gee, this is going to be confusing. How do I do this? And honestly, I don't think I've ever stuffed up a joint on it. So that's pretty impressive. If I haven't stuffed it up, it must be easy to use. It just looks intimidating. For the lid, I'm using some plexiglass or Lexan or clear acrylic, whatever you want to call it. This is just a leftover piece that I found in my offcut bin. I made a groove on the table saw all the way around the box so that the acrylic can ride in it because it's just exactly enough for the acrylic to slide in and then have enough room to move back and forth. But then on one of the ends, instead of doing a groove, I actually just chopped it off at that pipe. So now I can slide the acrylic in and friction will keep it in place and I can slide it out as needed. For the back of these boxes, I went back to the router table and I rabbited out some space for some really cool looking pine that I found in the stockpile. I'll be honest, I wish I had more of this pine. It's so beautifully figured. It just looks amazing. But I have this and then that, and that's basically it. I think I found it in a local cabinet maker in his sort of scrap pile firewood pipe. So I got really lucky there, but I wish I had more. I think these boxes are super attractive. So in my eyes, it's a nicer way of gifting a bottle to someone instead of just, a regular old brown paper bag, which is a little bit boring. But the good thing is once you take the bottle out, now you've got a display box so you can put something else in. If you have something else that fits a box like this, maybe they've got a bobblehead or something like that. For the guys that I'm going to gift the whiskey to, honestly, they could take the bottle out and throw the box in the bin for all I care. I had fun making it, so I don't care what they do with it. I'm just very appreciative that I got the timber from them in the first place. If you're ever looking just for a fun woodworking activity, just to sort of enjoy the process again, just get a piece of wood, put it in the vise, and then grab your planes and just make some shavings. I had so much fun making the shavings to pack these boxes out so the bottles don't shake around, and it looks fantastic. Well, I think it looks fantastic. Do you think it looks fantastic? I think it's fantastic. To be honest, I'm not sure if building a rocking horse and a couple of bottles of whiskey is enough to balance out the whole, you give me a new lease on life and I'm excited to come out to the workshop again kind of thing that I've got going on. But it's the best I can do. So that's what I've done. So thanks for sticking around for the chat, guys. If you're new here, there's a video up here that's going to explain a little bit more about me. And it's a good introduction to who I am and what I do. And if you're interested in the Incra, there's a video down the bottom here, where I'll go into a little bit more detail around how I made the corner post instead of just sort of glossing over it. Cheers, gang.